Oh boy, I'm working on my ASCII game for the last 3 months or so, and it's so amazing. I mean, it's so advanced. I can't wait to publish it on the internet. I wonder what other people made. Uh-oh. So, in case you don't know, an ASCII game is a game that all of its graphics are made out of text characters. I made some ASCII games in the past, but they're a little bit junky and weird, so I think it's time to step up my game. What do I mean by stepping up my game? Well, I'm gonna make a Legend of Zelda style game in a single week. I hope it will go well. Since I have such a short time to make this game, I wrote down the bare minimum for an open world game. A functioning player, a world to get around in, enemies, loot, non-player characters aka NPCs. It's really important to manage your time right to making a game in a short time, like my friend I learned Pasudundares, so I planned out a time management table and I will try my best to follow it. Oh, did I already mention that I'm making this with nothing but C++? So, on day 1, I work on some basic stuff. I made a custom console screen wrapper that I can control. It's just a fancy way to say that now I can print characters to the console fast and easily. Next up, I created a 2G object class, so now I can add an object to the game that adds one of these beautiful sprites and move it in just 2 lines of code. Nice! So, I think it's really cool. It didn't take me that long to make, and I think it's time to move on. Oh, wait, you think I'm gonna pull the "oh no, it's not working" thingy, right? Well, I can assure you that. Oh, you motherfucker. You know what? This seems like a tomorrow problem. Good night. As soon as I started working on day 2, I managed to fix the collision problems. Turns out the objects were colliding with themselves, but it was a super easy thing to fix. Anyway, I did that the way to rotate objects, but I didn't end up using it at all. Oh well. I started working on the chunk system. The chunks are like the chunks in the Legend of Zelda. You move between 2 separated pieces of the map, rather than just a scrolling camera. I think that gives the game a retro feel and it's a little bit easier to implement. It's a fairly complex system to make, so I managed to do only some background work on day 2. So there are no real differences on the surface. So I'm in the second version of the game, at least the one that I could restore, because I'm an idiot that can't save backups. Anyways, there are multiple objects that, as you can see, are colliding with each other. I can collide with them as well. And there is an arrow in the bottom that rotates every time. And that's about it. The game is really basic at this version. It's not really that interesting. It will get in the future. Just bear with me. I picked up the chunk system code straight up from where I left it on the end of day 2, and boy it was buggy. I added a way to draw and color chunks in a text file. This will make level design on day 7 super easy. Next up, I finally added the ability to load and clear chunks, so now our player can move between them. Unfortunately, I had a small amount of time on day 3, so I didn't manage to do anything else. Hello there, I'm currently on the third version of the game, and as you can see, a lot of things have changed here. First of all, our player is nice and cute. I didn't like the big clumsy big sprite. And as you can see, we are currently in a loaded chunk, which I kindly labeled. This is chunk 1. It's colored as well, as you can see right here. And if I go through that hole, I will arrive at chunk 2. The transition is nice, I really like it, and I think it's pretty nice for day 3. That's about it. Okay, day 4, let's go. The game was cool and all, but the world was a little bit empty. I mean, our poor player just stranded in this dark, evil and empty world. So I thought, why not make him fight for his peace and loneliness? And thus I started working on the enemies. Now, the enemy AI is pretty simple. Once the player is within the detection radius of an enemy, the enemy will try to move towards him in a straight line. Eventually, the enemy will make his way into attacking distance and will start damaging you. But all of the enemy's efforts will be wasted if the player is invincible. So I wrote down a quick stats class that I can slap on any object that I want. So long story short, you can die now and the game will mock you about it. It's not that much of a fair fight, is it? So I made our player able to fight back by pressing L. I mean, there is no way to know if you're attacking or not, but I guess people will just have to deal with it. Hello and welcome to the fourth version of the game. As you can see, we have an information panel on the right, which we can see the HP and some instructions. So if I move to the next chunk, we can see a beautiful enemy that waits for us, and if I get too close to it, it will chase me and take off my damage, and if you excuse me, I will kill it. Okay, we got pretty lucky right there, and we beat the game. So, I don't know what was so special about day 5, but on day 5 my brain was like, yes, it's big brain time, and I just crashed the items in the inventory system. So if I want to register a new item, all I need to do is give it an ID, a name and functionality if I want to. This was a nice surprise because I was kind of scared of making this system. So now we have an inventory and we can collect and store items in it, and that's really cool. And we can also
slay our enemies and loot their bodies just for the chance of getting a single item.
Oh, I've also added a nice inventory list that you can scroll through. I added 3 basic items that all RPG games seem to have. Some sort of food to regain HP, a potion to increase max HP, and a weapon for dealing more damage. I think it's safe to say that day 5 was a good day. Hey, welcome to the 5th version of the game. As you can see, there are changes in this section of the game. For example, the HP bar is a little bit different. You can now see your max HP and how much damage you deal. And you can see a list of the things you have in your inventory. We currently don't own anything, but if I go to the second chunk and kill that enemy, there is a 60% chance that he will drop meat, and he dropped. So if I use that meat, you can see it's gone, and my HP is restored. And that's about it. There are other items that I implemented, but I didn't implement them into that demo specifically. That's about it. Remember me talking about how day 5 was fun and productive, right? Well, day 6 was there to prove me that game dev is still painful sometimes. So, I've started programming an NPC, just a little shop where you can buy items. But man, for the life of me I couldn't make a little shop menu pop up when interacting with the shop. Stupid char arrays. But don't you worry, I did manage to make it at the end. I've also figured that you can't buy a sword with a piece of meat, so let me introduce you to the coin item. Say hello everyone! So now, when you kill an enemy, he will drop a coin instead of meat. Yeah, I know it's weird, don't make fun of me. Hi, welcome to the 6th version of the game, and on this version I added an NPC. So, if I go to the second chunk and kill that enemy, the NPC is right there, and I got the coin. So, if I interact with the shop, you can see that little window that I worked on. So I can buy a piece of meat for one coin, a potion for 2 coins, and a sword for 3 coins. So I currently have only 1 coin, so I will buy meat. And as we saw in earlier versions, I can use it. And there goes my HP. So that's about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. The day that took a whole week of preparation. Let day 7 begin. It's pretty obvious that if you want the player to be interested in a game, it has to have some sort of a goal. So the first thing I did was planning out a simple game world that will keep the player busy. So here is the plan. The player will spawn in an empty chunk that has 3 exits. The upper one is the boss area. Inside, there will be a strong enemy that will kill you easily if you're not well equipped. You can win the game only by killing the boss. The left exit will lead to a nice and peaceful chunk that has a shop in it. This will allow the player to get the right items to defeat the boss. But the player doesn't have anything, so he will need a way to gain coins, so he might want to go down the third way. Down this way, there will be a deadly chunk that spawns enemies every few seconds. That's a nice and simple way to farm coins. So I hope this little gameplay loop will keep the player interested till the end of the game. Right then, let's get to work. Okay, honestly, everything went amazingly according to plan. I quickly managed to design and implement the new chunks into the game, and adding the functionality was super easy as well. The only thing that went wrong was attacking the boss. You can damage him only if you attack him from the upper left. But you know what I say? It's not a bug, it's a feature. So, after a long week of hard work, I'm proud to show you the game. Enjoy. Hello! Welcome to the final game! You know what? I don't think a casual playthrough fits the game. I think this game is made for speedrunners. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to do some sort of a conclusion after all this, so here I go. The first thing that I want to know is whether I did everything on time as planned. And except a few times, I think I did pretty well sticking to the timetable. The other thing is whether I managed to top my other ASCII games. And I think I did. Does it have a chance next to something like The Legend of Zelda? Obviously not. But come on. But the real question is, did I manage to exceed to my expectations? I'm used to really scope down my games during a game jam just because I don't have the time to make the vision in my head real. But you know what? I think that I actually did. I mean, everything that I planned on doing ended up in the game, and I'm really happy with the result. We have a game that has a start and finish, and I'm especially happy with it considering it was made in a single week. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.
Also, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button and definitely be sure to smack that bell.